Hello everyone, welcome to today's video and this is your friend Bharat Shankar. So in today's video, we will dive into the fascinating story of Cafe Coffee Day. And in this episode, we will take you on a journey through the rise of India's favorite coffee chain, introduce you to the key players who shaped its destiny, and also uncover the unfortunate series of events that led to its downfall. So Cafe Coffee Day is a name that once echoed in every corner of India and was a symbol of bold business ventures. With a hopping 1,400 outlets, it ruled the coffee scene back when competition was practically non-existent. To put into perspective, even the closest rival, Costa Coffee, had just around 170 outlets. So I assume it's safe to say that this success story breaks all traditional business rules. But before we go forward, I'd like to tell you guys, to make such kind of videos, we put in a lot of effort, and if you want to appreciate our efforts and motivate us to make more such kind of videos, then you can hit the like button and like the video. And if you're new to the channel, then you can also subscribe to our channel. So now let's talk about the main man behind the magic, who is VG Siddhartha. He was a brave entrepreneur who challenged the doubters and created a brand that became a part of our daily lives. But it is a less known fact that VG Siddhartha's journey had a lot more layers than we realize, and these layers had dirty politics, debt, and also a lot of risk, which would ultimately take his life. So now many of you might be thinking that VG Siddhartha was a one-man army who single-handedly created a coffee empire. But that is not true, because he didn't walk this path alone. His father-in-law SM Krishna, a former chief minister of Karnataka, brought not just family support but also a wealth of political insights that proved invaluable. And this unique blend of business smarts and political know-how played a big role in VG Siddhartha's success. And also his close circle included some extraordinary folks. Ever heard of Nandan Nilekani, the co-founder of Infosys and the brain behind Aadhaar? Yes, he was also part of VG Siddhartha's network. And also don't be surprised to find out that DK Shivakumar, the present Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, was also part of VG Siddhartha's circle. And now some of you might be thinking that the secret recipe of VG Siddhartha's success was political connections, right? Not entirely. Political connections might have helped, but VG Siddhartha was a brilliant businessman who created a valuable business. Because at that point of a time, it was a unique business plan in India, and for that reason, when Cafe Coffee Day kicked off, heavyweights like Infosys and Mindtree were its initial investors, hinting at the potential they saw in Cafe Coffee Day. And surprisingly, VG Siddhartha's gamble paid off. Coffee, once considered just a beverage, turned into an experience and successfully changed the cafe culture in India. And also, when the company launched its initial public offering or IPO, star investors like Radhakishan Damani, who is also the founder of DMart, and late Mr. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala invested in Cafe Coffee Day. But here is the twist in the tale. Behind the scenes, VG Siddhartha battled personal challenges, juggling the weight of a massive business. And then came the shocker. In 2019, VG Siddhartha committed suicide. And this raised some tough questions. What pushed a successful businessman to such a tragic end? Did the complexities of handling business debts play a part? Could the blend of politics and business have unintended consequences? So in the upcoming part of the video, we will exactly talk about these questions, and we will dive into the roller coaster journey of Cafe Coffee Day. We will break down what made it rise and where it stumbled. And we will also get into the dark secrets of mixing political connections with business decisions and what that can lead to. But before we go forward, I would like to ask you a question. Just like Cafe Coffee Day in India, there is a famous cafe chain in USA, and you have to tell me in the comment section what is the name of that cafe chain. And here are the options for the answers. Number 1, Walmart. Number 2, Starbucks. And number 3, Dairy Queen. And also watch the video till the end, because at the end of the video, we are going to reveal the right answer for this question. So until then, let's see how many people can guess the right answer in the comment section. So now let's rewind the story to the very beginning. Globally, India is the 7th largest coffee producer, and about 90% of this coffee beans are cultivated in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. And these states contribute about 80% of India's coffee exports. So in the heart of Karnataka's Chikmagalur region lies a hub of coffee plantations. And here in Chikmagalur, VG Siddhartha's ancestors had been cultivating coffee for over more than 150 years, which means coffee plantation was VG Siddhartha's family business. But VG Siddhartha had other plans. In fact, his dream was to join the Indian Army, and he was also an active member of the National Cadet Corps, but ultimately he failed to enlist in the Indian Army. But very soon he found another passion, and this passion was stock market trading, which took him to Mumbai, where he joined a company called GM Financial. And after learning the ins and outs of stock market trading for 2 years, Siddhartha decided to start his own stock market trading company, and this company was called Sivan Securities. And to start this company, he sought financial support from his father father, who gave him 7.5 lakh rupees. And his father also told him that if this money gets lost, you have to come home and become a coffee businessman. And VG Siddhartha agreed to his father. But the way he managed this 7.5 lakh rupees was extraordinary, where he invested part of this funds into his business and the rest was invested into land. And his logic was very simple. Even if he lost money in stock market trading business, he would still have the land, which over the time would transform into an asset of 10 lakh rupees, which would ultimately enable him to repay his father. So investing part of that 7.5 lakh rupees in land was his backup plan. And so with the rest of the funds, he entered into stock market trading. And back then the trading landscape was vastly different. The markets were less crowded, making it relatively easy to pocket profits. Sometimes he would see roaring success in trading with lakhs of profits, and sometimes he also faced substantial losses. It was a gamble, but a gamble that he embraced every single day. But ultimately this risk paid off and he earned substantial profits from stock market trading, and whatever profits he was earning from stock market trading, he strategically invested that into land, and from 1985 to 1993, in mere 8 years, he managed to accumulate a whopping 3,000 acres of land. But the real game changer arrived with the liberalization of the Indian economy in the year 1991, and with his keen understanding of market dynamics, he saw the possible transition from local business to international trade and a chance to expand horizons and seize larger margins. And to capitalize on this opportunity in the year 1993, VG Siddhartha took a step into coffee trading, and in just 2 years, by 1995, he secured the title of India's largest unroasted coffee exporter. And this was a great success. But along with this success, a challenge also came to light in the form of fluctuations in productions, droughts and rapid harvest, which led to volatile prices in the international market, which would make the profits of unroasted coffee export business very inconsistent. But VG Siddhartha needed stability and consistency in profits. Determined to address this issue, VG Siddhartha embarked on a journey of research and innovation. The solution became clear, establishing his own brand, because he clearly understood that merely buying and selling coffee left him vulnerable to market volatilities, but by creating his own brand, he could actually control the price at which he is going to sell his coffee. So just to give you a better understanding, I'll just give you a very small example. Wheat prices fluctuate every month. This month it might be 100 rupees and next month it might be 150 and next to next month it might be 80 rupees. But the price of branded wheat flour, say Ashirwad Atta, doesn't change every month. Just because it is a branded product and people buy it for its brand, it can control the prices at which it is going to sell the wheat flour. And so for VG Siddhartha, 3 avenues emerged: opening his own cafe, selling his own coffee powder and retailing his own coffee vending machines. And so VG Siddhartha's brainchild, Coffee Day Fresh and Ground, marked the inception of his brand venture. They began selling coffee powders through their outlets, numbering around 4.5 lakh at the time. And they were also able to sell coffee vending machines as well. But yet the concept of opening cafes posed a challenge, because when VG Siddhartha shared his idea of opening cafes with his friends, they were skeptical about this concept because you could get a best filter coffee for 5 to 10 rupees. And why the hell someone would pay 50 to 100 rupees to buy a coffee at a cafe? This reaction initially swayed VG Siddhartha's decision to open cafes in India, but fate had other plans. A trip to Singapore transformed VG Siddhartha's perspective. Observing bustling cafes with their global appeal and inviting ambience, he realized the untapped potential of cafes in the Indian market. Because these cafes were more than just coffee joints, they were vibrant spaces where conversations flowed, business deals were struck, and young folks bonded. And this revelation reignited VG Siddhartha's dream to open cafes in India. Despite initial rejections, his determination held strong. With substantial savings in hand, VG Siddhartha was ready to take a plunge. Investing 1.5 crore rupees, arranging a lease of 50 lakh rupees, he set his sight on realizing his cafe concept. The financial constraints mattered little. The drive to see his vision come alive drove him forward. Even with zero initial experience in the cafe business, he was ready to put his dream to the test. And in the year 1996, the first Cafe Coffee Day was established. And it was an instant hit because everybody liked it. A tech-savvy individual people, college students, IT employees, and last but not the least, it became a hot spot for couples to spend some quality time. And I'm pretty sure many of you might have also gone to Cafe Coffee Day for a date. With this huge success, VG Siddhartha launched the next phase of his plan, which was aggressive expansion. By the year 2000, 22 cafes had popped in South India, and by 2004, a staggering 200 outlets had been established. Now, zooming ahead to 2014, the empire had expanded to a jaw-dropping 1,488 cafes and 2,777 coffee vending machines. And finally, VG Siddhartha has arrived. And now he was the true coffee king of India. But you'll be surprised to know that he was not just only in the coffee business. To understand this, let's rewind to 2000 for a moment. So in the year 2000, along with his coffee business, VG Siddhartha returned to his first passion, which was financial advisory, where he founded Way to Wealth, offering financial guidance. And in the year 2006, he ventured into real estate and constructed the vast global village tech park, which spreads across 120 acres, housing a hopping 3.3 million square feet of built-up space. And VG Siddhartha also influenced major corporations like DLF to become part of this enterprise. But VG Siddhartha's ambitions didn't halt there. In his pursuit of diversification, he entered into healthcare sector by establishing hospitals, and he also unveiled the luxurious Surrey Resort with 3 locations across India, including Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So from a core coffee business, VG Siddhartha expanded into finance, real estate, resorts and healthcare. But VG Siddhartha's ambition still didn't halt there. In the year 2009, he took yet another leap, and this time into the world of furniture. With over 15,000 acres of land at his disposal, he set up his own furniture company, where they processed wood from their own trees to create plywoods, boards, furnitures, and even kitchen supplies. They weren't just creating products, they were crafting an entire ecosystem. And along with all these business activities, VG Siddhartha also stepped into the role of an investor. During an IPO, when others hesitated, he invested in a company called Mindtree, which later went on to earn great profits for him. So in short, VG Siddhartha was a visionary, a very smart entrepreneur, and also a very sharp investor who turned the seed money he borrowed from his father, a mere 7.5 lakh rupees, into an asset of 6,000 crore rupees by 2015. And now many of you might think that this is a perfect dream come true story, which had risk, which had challenges, and it also had doubters. But ultimately, VG Siddhartha overcame all of these troubles and established an empire. But all was not well as it looked on the surface, because during this journey, VG Siddhartha had made some serious mistakes which would ultimately bring his empire down to its knees. So to understand this, let's unravel the downfall of Cafe Coffee Day and VG Siddhartha. So as we had already seen, apart from being in the coffee business, VG Siddhartha also diversified into finance, real estate, healthcare, furniture and many more. And such swift expansion and diversification demand substantial funds. In an ideal scenario, you set up one business, and when this business starts earning, you use its earnings to start another business, and so on. But however, if you rush into new ventures while the first business isn't even steady, then a lot of problem arises. And one such problem can be unhealthy loans, which is funding the expansion and diversification into new businesses and ventures which are not even steady in terms of earnings and revenues. And this is where it gets dangerous, because in such a scenario, getting into a debt trap increases rapidly. For example, if we dive into the timeline from 2009 to 2015, this period marked rapid expansion, but in these 6 years, company recorded profits only for 2 years, and the total profits were around 37 crore rupees. However, in the remaining 4 years, losses piled up, amounting to a staggering 166 crore rupees. So at one end, the company was actually making a lot of losses, but on the other hand, the company was also expanding into multiple areas and multiple business ventures. And when you are expanding, where does the money come from? The usual sources are banks, loans, and sometimes selling shares. VG Siddhartha followed this path too. He roped in a private equity investor for a staggering 960 crore rupees. Out of this, only 90 crore was equity and the rest was debt. But here is where the challenge emerges. When debt piles up and profits don't match, you are in a sticky situation. And by 2015, while his assets looked impressive at 6,000 crore rupees, his debt was at a staggering 4,662 crore rupees. And also in 2009, his equity made up 22% of his assets, while by 2015, it dropped to a mere 9%. And now with company in such big problem, VG Siddhartha Siddhartha was looking for a way out to save his company. So in order to save his business and company, he decided to sell company stocks and launched an initial public offering or IPO. And VG Siddhartha's connections and friend circle pulled in big investors like Rakesh Jhunjhunwala and Radhakishan Damani, which was needed to add credibility to the IPO, but the company was in loss. Worse, the company was under high debt burden because it has taken too many loans. And at the same time, to make matters even worse, the IPO didn't generate as much interest as expected. When the IPO hit the market, VG Siddhartha experienced a moment of triumph, becoming one of the country's richest man because his personal net worth soared above 7,000 crore rupees. But like a flicker, it changed. The shares initially listed at 313 rupees plummeted to 270 rupees on the same day, an 18% loss in a single day. Some attributed it to a downturn in Sensex and others to political scenarios. And now you might be wondering, what was the political scenario? To begin with, let me tell you, political support might propel you upwards, but it can also drag you down. So despite his father-in-law being the chief minister and having powerful connections, there were a lot of acquisitions that were made against VG Siddhartha, and especially his dealings in real estate and coffee plantations were scrutinized. And now an obvious question might come to your mind that VG Siddhartha is a businessman, and why politicians are interested in scrutinizing his real estate deals and his coffee plantations? The answer is very simple. VG Siddhartha actively got involved in politics and started helping his political friends directly, because at one instance VG Siddhartha bought Gujarat MPs to Karnataka under DK Shivkumar's protection, and he personally ensured security and halted BJP's interference. And now in this battle of BJP versus Congress, he was helping his friend DK Shivkumar, who is from Congress, and now VG Siddhartha was also indirectly branded as a Congress person. And this whole act of getting Gujarat MPs to Karnataka brought trouble to DK Shivkumar, and also 300 crore rupees were announced when there was an income tax raid on DK Shivkumar, which also tagged VG Siddhartha. The next day, based on this information, raids were conducted at 20 places, which brought huge trouble for VG Siddhartha as well. And this twist shows that a business journey can be dramatically altered by political connections, because what seemed like a source of strength can become a pitfall. And also during this time, another major event happened which drastically and significantly increased the problems and burdens for Siddhartha. And this event was a massive fraud that was exposed in IL and FS. And when this massive fraud was exposed, the RBI and the banks started tightening the rules and regulations around lending and giving out loans, which made it very difficult to get loans at that point of a time. And they were also thoroughly reviewing the old loans as well to understand the risk of recovery involved in those loans. And at this point of a time, VG Siddhartha was actually in a very big trouble because he had a massive debt of around 2000 crore rupees from NBFCs and a mutual fund loan of 901 crore rupees. And to manage these existing loans, where he had to repay installments and interest, he needed more loans. But at this point of a time, due to this massive fraud exposed in IL and FS, RBI and banks had made it very difficult to give out new loans. And so VG Siddhartha was not able to get new loans to manage his existing loans. And along with that, as we had already discussed, the income tax department was also breathing under his neck. His situation worsened and he was desperate. He began selling his shares to manage the crisis, and at one point of a time, he held 53% of the company shares, and now he was left only with 14% of the shares. So now, to explain the gravity of his situation, let me summarize his situation. He had too much of debt, his companies were not making enough profits, he desperately needed funds to keep his ventures and businesses afloat, but at this point of a time, banks had halted lending or giving out loans due to the IL and FS scandal, and on top of that, his company's share price was falling like anything, which made his troubles even worse. And then there was the income tax department, whose intervention further squeezed him, and to make matters even worse, old investors demanded their money back. So it was like a trap closing in on him, and he had nowhere to run. And this relentless pressure likely took its toll. Maybe that's why he took the drastic step of ending his life. After his tragic passing, his wife Malavika took the reins. She repaid loans, sold assets, and streamlined operations, but it was not easy to bounce back fully. Once valued at 320 rupees, now the share price stands at around 35 rupees. And recently, the default of another 200 to 300 crore loan added to the worries and the problems. So finally, VG Siddhartha's journey highlights the perils of unchecked expansion, hinging on loans, and underestimating the unexpected. His story serves as a stark reminder reminder that financial storms can engulf even the mightiest ships. The tale carries profound lessons that resonate beyond borders and industries. Share your thoughts in the comments, and if this story has struck a chord, do hit the like button. Your engagement fuels our commitment to bringing more such insightful videos in the future. And also the answer for the quiz question is Starbucks. And now Starbucks is also in India. And between Cafe Coffee Day and Starbucks, which one would you choose? You can write that also in the comment section. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Until then, this is your friend Bharat Shankar signing off.